Fine.
Okay, we are live. And then let me share it. Share.
Yeah, and I shared again. I shared the event again on Sylvia's page. So
Thank you for doing that.
this morning.
I am posting it in the event right now, and then I'll post it on everything else as well. Post.
Yeah, I had gotten that message. Get off your butt. I knew exactly what that was. For readings and the crystal store.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Arlie. You gonna walk on the floor yet? I don't know what. He was peacefully sleeping, and I think someone touched him. And it scared him, and he scattered everything. I found him in the bathtub, and he wouldn't walk on the floor like it's hot lava, like how kids play the floor is hot lava.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep having to pick him up and put him on the floor and show him that it's okay. He's afraid of the cardboard scratcher down. So I threw it out the door. But he was severely traumatized. Huh. I didn't do it. Honest. No.
We are sharing everywhere. And we have Steve and Alyssa already
Get
on.
down.
Steve says, hello, ladies. And Alyssa says, hi.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Hello.
And Cool Runnin' says, hey, y'all.
Hello.
So what we're doing today is we're going to do the kid-friendly version. So if kids want to ask any questions, if they want to talk about what they've been experiencing, anything like this, it's all going to be directed toward the kids. So no sassy cards today, no bad words, no harsh messages. So anything that the kids want to talk about or discuss, we can move forward with that. Do you have any questions? You don't know of any yet? All right. Do you want to talk about anything that you've experienced?
I've been hearing a lot of noise.
You've been hearing a lot of noise? Like people talking to you or other kinds of noise?
Other kind of noise.
Other kinds of noise?
Like that they were trying to bring the charge.
What did you hear?
Don't really know how to explain it.
You don't know how to explain the noise that you heard? Was it loud or was it quiet?
It was kind of loud.
Kind of loud?
It was kind of in the middle.
In the middle? Yeah.
When Sophia gonna come over?
Timber. Mm-mm.
Is she even gonna come over?
All right. Okay, so just let us know if there are any questions in the comments. I figured since this one was a family one, it probably won't go the full 2 hours just because the kids don't want to sit online for 2 hours. But we'll go as long as there are questions or anything that anybody wants to talk about. So, all right, we got one from Mason. Mason had a panther spirit in his closet for a while that was looking out for him, but it was turned bad by some other things. Can we call animals to him to replace Sophina?
Yes, we can call other animals to be his spirit animals. And in fact, that's already happened. He has, and I've seen, a giraffe. So the panther is gone. The panther was initially had good intent, but the people that lived in the home before you were practicing some activities with tarot cards and other things in the wrong way. I mean, their approach was wrong. Their intent wasn't in their highest mind. So it was originally there to protect some daughters that they had. And then as they move forward without knowledge, they started using tarot cards to, that created the problem. So the panther was removed and is gone and is no longer in the closet. And if you want to, Mason, you can go ahead and put back in the closet a pillow and a blanket, or, you know, whatever you would want for a giraffe to have. Maybe it's another giraffe stuffy or something like that, but that's what's in there now. And the house has been secured, the room has been secured. And you'll also notice that the dog that sleeps in there doesn't get excited, and she would. So that was a long answer to a short question, but yes, absolutely. And additional animals can be called in as well to stay for longer periods of time, or whatever you want, you know, however long you want them to stay. So absolutely, yes.
I'm also seeing a Dalmatian, a Dalmatian dog that's there to protect too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's extra protection.
Mm-hmm.
Now Timber wants to know what her spirit animal is and where hers is sleeping.
Timber's got several of them. I saw a falcon.
Mm-hmm.
And it sleeps in your room and it protects you. A falcon's a bird, a big, mighty bird.
I also see, Timber, I see a butterfly. Which is a very strong animal protector. And just very quickly, what they represent for you, or what they do for you, is they help you with things that you're doing. Transformation is the word, but things that you're doing, they help you to change things and look at things differently, and to understand things differently. They help you pay attention to things that are happening in your day. So as part of your life, and they'll help you pay attention to those things. Butterflies are usually pulled to children that are very sensitive, which you are. You have the magenta aura, which is the blue and the red. And butterflies also help with just your understanding of growth and growing. And as you get older, you have a better understanding of things that are going on in your life. You know, whether it's some basic things like why you have to finish your homework, or why you have to finish your chores, or, you know, something simple, right? So they do help with that. They also represent a continuous growth. I want to use the word unfolding of you, Timber, and your spiritual growth. So that's the unfolding piece that I'm talking about. Helping you to grow and to understand things spiritually and psychically. You know, they have great grace, butterflies do, which you do. Great lightness, right? I mean, they're light when you hold them. But they're also playful, right? So they're there to be playful, and to help you with that. There's a second meaning with a butterfly also, and that is finding fun, and kind of a happy place for you, a happy spot, and to be in a happy spot and in a happy place, wherever you are, whether you're at a friend's house, whether you're home, whether you're in school. They help you encourage that. So, you know, if you feel a sudden change in your mood, as an example, you know, suddenly you feel really happy when you were sad or when you were tired, that's what they do for you. They're a great spirit animal to have, protection. And keep in mind, they fly, right? So they can fly high and give you information and let you know about different things that are happening in your life and things that are coming in your life. So they're a great spirit animal to have for you, honey. And it fits you.
All right. Steve says thank you for Mason. And then we also have Sindra here today. Hi, Sindra. Also, while we have you, Sindra, send me your contact information because you won the drawing 2 live circles ago, I think, maybe 3. And so we need your address so that Justin can send you your prize. So you can send that to the partnership Facebook. You can just direct message and I will get, I'll send it to Justin so he can send you all your stuff. All right. Okay, so just a reminder for anybody that's joined later, this live circle is for our little ones. So it's a family friendly one where we are answering questions that any kids have, or if they want to talk about anything they've been experiencing, or they want to know more about their spirit guides or their spirit animals, anything that the kids want to know or want to discuss or ask. This is all directed for them today. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the box and we'll answer them for you. What do you think, Timber? Do you have more?
The bear tree.
Oh, Timber is wondering about a dream that she had. And it was a long time ago, but she can't get it out of her head. She tells a lot of people about it, but she had a bear come into her dream, but the bear was trying to eat her. Or it was, right? Okay, no. And it scared her a lot. And she's just wondering what the significance of the bear was, or what the bear means, right? What the bear meant and why it was eating her.
Bears in dreams represent, I'm listening. They represent a symbol, a trait that you have, your personality, of courage and strength. So it's a reminder for you that you have those things. They also represent new beginnings, so the new start of things to happen for you. It's also possible that you see different types of bears in your dreams, like you might see a polar bear, you might see a koala bear, you might see a panda bear, something like that. The eating piece, I think that's typically related more towards good things and not bad. I mean, I certainly understand that would frighten you, but what they're really trying to do is just get your attention, because remember that bears live in the wild, so they live in the jungle. So sometimes they're untamed, and they need you to work with them to help them with that. But and again, it depends on which one, but again, it's courage, strength, stability, thinking things through in a very good way, in a very straight way. Bears they also represent very, very strong independence for you, for a child, power. They also work with you to help you, because you're a magenta, help you carefully use your control. So they help to teach you how to use the magic that you have and the strength that you have. They really represent great warmth and love. They represent rational thinking. So again, Timber would likely think things through in a very straightforward way, very methodically. She would probably surprise people, including her teachers, with an understanding of step 1, step 2, step 3, whether it's mathematics, or something like that in school. She would get there and get to the end long before anybody else would. So they help you with that. They also help with grounding. So having both of your feet on the ground and feeling in your feet, Timber, the energy that comes up from the ground, that comes into your feet. And I think you might even have seen some of that. It's red. So you might have seen some of that when you get up. Particularly in the morning is when you're going to see that. So it's very, very good. Great strength. Very strong-willed. And yeah, again, I think it's just, I think maybe not so much eating you as just trying to get your attention and say, I'm here. And you can talk to him. I think you do some of that anyway. When you're dreaming, when you're sleeping, you can talk to him. So you don't need to be afraid. You can turn around and say, why are you here? What is it you can do for me? Are we friends? What are we doing? And then they'll talk to you and explain that to you. And that's why that keeps coming back, honey, because they want to talk to you. That's why.
So
So I hope that helps you.
in your dream, you would just get to talk to your animals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next up we have Alyssa R. She says, my youngest was trying to pet something that I couldn't see the other morning. He then off and on would cry and swat at the floor. Do we know what that is?
What does that mean?
Well, the younger children, are largely very empathic. I mean, they just are, because they don't have the walls put up. They're not conditioned as we are as adults. So they're very open. And they do have friends. Sometimes they're, most of the time with the children, they are a relative, a grandmother, somebody that's passed, that just wants to make themselves known. I'm hearing that there's a great grandmother that has passed. Great. Okay. There's actually two. There's a great and on your side, Alyssa, and there's a grandmother. Is that also great? also a great on Stephen's side of the family. So that's who that is. And keep in mind with, particularly with children, that spirits can come to them in any form that they choose to. As animals, as, pretty much any type of being they want to look like. But with kids, they usually come in as other kids, so that they don't scare them. But that's who it is. There's two of them. That's who it is. And that's why you see her, sometimes her eyes change and they're different. And sometimes there's light in them. And that wasn't there, even just a few minutes ago. So, that's the moment you step back 5 feet. No, I'm just kidding. And say, who is that now? So she's swapping out. She has at least two. She's swapping out. And the Dalmatian that Liz referred to in the house is actually hers. That is her spirit animal, at least right now. I'm uncertain whether that will stay with her for the rest of her life, but I think that's kind of a TBD. But absolutely, I see the Dalmatian too. And I see it with her, with the pink collar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So plenty of protection around them.
I actually saw when you said she was petting something, I actually saw her petting a bunny. So yeah, the spirits will shift into different shapes.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids are into different shapes for us.
Mm-hmm.
And my eyes, like Pam was saying, my eyes will change colors.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I have blue eyes, and I had green flecks in my eyes the other day, and I had to show Pam, what the heck is this?
What is happening, right?
So, and it was with a guide that was with me.
And the rabbit, I have to come to the rabbit very quickly. I see it too. The rabbit is, as a spirit animal, is fairly complex. Their meanings are fairly complex. Sometimes they're associated with having a timid nature in a child. Sometimes shyness. Quite often creativity. So that's something to think about with her. Also, they represent good luck. And that actually spans out to the family, I'm hearing, not just her, but they represent good luck. And they're really a symbol of abundance for the family as well. And keep in mind, of course, as we know, rabbits are clever. Again, they're creative. And sometimes they're working to help the child overcome some fear of something, whether it's a person, a situation, that type of thing. Spontaneity is a big one with a rabbit too. Lots of spontaneity, which is probably relevant with her as well. So yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I see that too.
So Steve said that they couldn't understand Liz. She was breaking up too much, so they lost most of what she said. And it looks like Liz is still a little frozen right now, so I'm not sure if that's her internet or not. But Alyssa's response, she says, okay, I was worried it was something bad because she's been talking about spiders. So that's probably just talking about spiders in general.
Mhm.
So.
I had said that I had seen her petting a bunny.
Mhm. Spiders can be a spirit animal as well. Of course, I'm terrified of them, but the spiders, I'll just jump in this really quickly. They represent typically a feminine energy. Again, creativity. If you think about or you characterize them as, for example, their webs, right, that they weave, the intricate webs, and the patience that it takes to make that happen. So by affinity, the spider spirit animal has qualities of high receptivity. And again, I have to come back to creativity again and again and again. The spider also helps the child tune in when it's right to kind of the ebb and flow of life. That helps as they get older to weave, if you will, their destiny. So if I had to recap, I'd say patience, receptivity, definitely feminine energy, always. Creativity, a weaver of life's fate. Was there anything else on that one? Yeah, and just connecting her with the different life's facets, and we all know there are so many. So that's, I mean, it's a good spirit animal, and it wouldn't surprise me with her. I mean, you can, like we said, you can have more than one. So that's not a bad thing.
Hollywood has made spiders on the dark side. Spiders and crows and stuff like that. Hollywood has done that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They've stereotyped them as bad, but
Mm-hmm. I agree. Would it help if I just quickly ran through sort of the 10 sort of traits that might generate some questions of a spirited child, if you will. I hesitate to use the word psychic, but a spirited child. Maybe that would help generate some questions. Would that be okay?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that for sure.
Okay. So kids, empaths have, they're a great judge of character. So when your baby, your child, doesn't about face and leaves somebody walking there or standing there, you know why. They're a great judge of character. Very important. They also quite often will talk about a past life. Now, they don't know necessarily that they're talking about a past life, but They'll talk about something that they might have done before, before they got here. They recall some very interesting things, some very interesting details that you wonder, where those came from. And of course, the first thing we jump to is they have a great imagination, right? Which they do. So, we as parents often, associate that with, vivid dreams and that type of stuff. So, but really it should be taken seriously because, or at least have a discussion on it, because they may very well be talking about a past life. Like I mentioned earlier, children are very empathic, much more so than other children. They're much more sensitive to certain things than other children. They sometimes become overwhelmed because they feel too much. So they, kind of shake and fist, and they don't quite know what to do. That's a great example. When a lot of things are going on around them, loud noises, things like that, it's often a bit too much for them to handle. Also, they're quick to pick up smells and sounds that other folks won't hear. So pay attention to that. Empath children, spirited children share a special bond with animals, always. Animals most typically make them feel good, but an empathic child really has a truly special connection with them. The pets the animals tend to be more gentle with the child, not because they're smaller, but because they're empathic. The empathic child gives off a loving and nurturing vibe that picks up. And the same is true, that the pet will do the same thing, and the child will pick that up to that nurturing vibe. They will feel that. So they really like pets, even more so than adults do. This is a big one. They'll know about things before they happen. So they'll tell you something that you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. But spiritually gifted children quite often will predict something and communicate it to you in a different way that later on, when something happens, you'll go, aha, I get it now, right? There's a flood, there's, someone passed, there's a, somebody had a bicycle accident, or somebody got a new bike, or, something like that. I mean, they know something in advance. And what happens is it's sort of like looking into a crystal ball for them. Their third eye, middle of the forehead, is wide open. So it's really easy for them to predict the future. Just like that. They don't use crystal balls necessarily, but their third eye is wide open. What else on that? They see visions very quickly, very easily, again, because the third eye is open. And quite often they'll have dreams, like Timber, about things. So, they're very gifted. To Alyssa's question, most gifted children, I think I like that word, gifted children, have imaginary friends. And it's pretty significant. Like they'll set a place setting for them at the table. They talk to them, they communicate with them. Quite often these imaginary friends are actually their guides. It's not just someone passing through. In that case, it's someone that is likely to stay with them and become their guide. So in any way that you can, help to support that, try not to pull them away from that. But, they're able and capable of communicating with them. And yeah, if you don't set that place at the table, you're probably going to be in a lot of trouble. Gifted children do not particularly like crowded places. Again, it overwhelms them. They pick up moods, they sense moods, auras of people around them. And obviously sometimes those can be negative feelings. So, they can quickly become overwhelmed with that. And again, sometimes it can just be too much for them at times because they feel all these emotions from everyone around them just swirling. So if you have a child that doesn't enjoy being in a crowded place, that definitely could be the reason why. Because they feel the high, but they feel the low. They feel the pain of someone else. Also, gifted children more often than not have sleep issues. They have trouble sleeping. When bedtime rolls around, they're not ready. They don't sleep easily. They don't sleep as deep. And quite often they're afraid of the dark. And then when they do eventually go to sleep, the gifted child has, again, very vivid dreams and even sometimes some nightmares. So because of that makes them, this is a loop, right? This makes them want to fall asleep even less, which is why they want to stay up. So what you can do with that is, encourage them to have pleasant dreams, when it's time to go to bed, read good books, talk about good things. I mean, that might help the situation. Not every time, but, talk with them about their favorite part of the day, that type of thing. What did you learn today? That type of thing. Gifted children, they're very creative. Their creativity is very, very strong. And they're definitely more creative than other children. The right side of the brain is usually the side that's responsible for an individual's ability to come up with creative things. And the left side usually helps a person think about things, right, in a more analytical sense. So the gifted child uses the right side of their brain a lot more. And they have the ability to make decisions based on the empathic feeling of intuition. So they'll pop off with something and you'll wonder, wow, that was great. you know, um, they'll pop off with facts about something that you wouldn't expect them to know about. Conversation you haven't had with them, or conversation you haven't had in front of them. And then I think the last piece, which is also very important, is they see auras probably better than anybody, even better than any one of us, around people. So surrounding people, they're definitely very gifted with that. And as we know, auras are energy. So they can sense and feel a mood change just by seeing it. They can see the colors. They can see them around adults. They can see them around babies. They can see them around other children, toddlers, etc. So if you see your child constantly looking up, you know, the head of somebody, that's the reason. Well, more than likely, that's the reason, is they can actually see the aura. So they might be checking out the aura. So yeah, if I had to go through the 10 points, I think that would be them. There's more, but those are kind of the 10 high level ones. So hopefully that helps.
All right, so Steve messaged in and he said, Taylor, I'd be interested to hear about the things that Timber experiences and how you learned she was gifted, if you feel comfortable sharing. So I'd have to probably think about everything, but the one that, like, the first time I started noticing stuff was actually when she was like not even 1 yet, probably. She was sitting in her high chair and we were feeding her and she was doing the little baby babble, but like it was a conversation for sure. And it was to somebody on the, like, in the corner of the room where we weren't walking at all. It was when I was still living in Durango and both her dad and I were there. But she was having a full conversation with somebody else on the other side of the room, and like not looking around. She was like deadlocked on one specific place and having a conversation. And then from there, it's mostly been, she's just talking to people you don't see. She's very good at playing by herself, but I don't think she's playing by herself. And then I just personally have seen a lot of childlike activity around her playroom. Like there's a couple younger energy and spirits that I kind of have gotten to know around her playroom. They don't really come out of her playroom a ton. And we've recently switched the room that her playroom was in, so I haven't felt them as much recently. But there was definitely times where she would be playing with somebody that nobody else could see with hers. So that's mostly been what I've experienced with her a lot. When she's outside, she has her own little world on her little playground, her room, and then the conversations. And then the very vivid dreams, like that bear dream. She's been talking to me about that one for over 2 years. I want to say it's probably closer to 3 years that she's been talking about that bear dream. So I know we've had some sleep stuff. Times where she really wants to come in and sleep with me. She is the one that fights bedtime, but then she's also a very early riser, which isn't the best for me. Because then I try and fight her to take a nap so that she's not grumpy. But yeah, late to bed, early to rise, all of that stuff. That's mostly what it's been. She says that she's not astro traveling, but Liz sees her all the time up there. So she just doesn't have the recall yet to where she can tell me about it later. But we see her up there a lot when we travel. And one time she accidentally went with me to a house clearing, so that was fun because then I was so distracted, like keeping her away from everything, that thankfully her guides and my guides worked together, and so I didn't really contribute a whole lot. I was just mostly telling her to stay in a corner the whole time. But yeah, so those are the experiences we've had so far. There's not a ton more than that, and she's very creative. She's very creative. She thinks she has a whole YouTube channel that's out there to the world that is on my iPad. So we have lots of videos of her creating everything. She teaches everything on this YouTube channel. So one day it'll be hilarious to maybe post those somewhere, but yeah. Are there any things that you would like to discuss maybe that you've experienced with Mason? I'd be interested to hear those too. So that would be a fun conversation. And then I know we said we'd stick to about 1 hour. So we have 5 minutes left. I'm happy to keep going if Liz and Pam want to keep going, but yeah, we've almost hit that hour mark. So I'm happy with whatever. If you guys are interested in taking or signing up for our Porch Light classes, I have the June ones posted so far. If the 2 o'clock time, I think I put 2 o'clock for all of them. If that time frame is a little difficult and we have a smaller group, I'm happy to change that time frame. But be sure that you go on to Appointee, which is our booking link, and book it, because I'm going to send out a Zoom link for those. Those won't be live. And then I will also be able to send you like little coloring sheets and activities that we're going to do for those. They are free. So when you register for them, it won't charge you anything, but I still want you to register. So I have like the email address and all of that stuff to send out. And then Steve says, do you feel like, or is it typical for kiddos like her to have a hard time connecting with other kids? I definitely feel like Mason has a hard time making lasting friends. Anyone's input is welcome. So what I've noticed is Timber has a very tight group of friends, but I feel like almost all of them are just as spirited as her, whether their parents realize it or not. But they're also on a team together. So she's been with that same group of kids on the same dance team for three years for most of them, 4 for a couple of them. So she's basically known them since she was 2.5, 3 years old. So I feel like she's very close with them. However, she only has one person from all of her years of daycare and school that I feel like she was super close with. She makes friends easily, but they're not lasting friends with the exception of that group. So I don't know. I guess I don't know how to answer that one other than that. Like for lasting friends, playground friends, she makes all the time. She has no idea what their names are, but she makes friends super easy. It's just that not the lasting friends with the exception of that dance group. I don't know what do you think, Pam and Liz?
Oh, I definitely agree. I mean, I can speak to Stephen about his small group of friends when he was younger, because he started experiencing things when he was quite young also. And he did really well in school, but he had I don't want to say difficulty associating with other children, because that's not true, but he didn't want to, with the exception of just 1 or 2 of them, Nathan and Billy. And that was pretty much it. So the gifted children are, well, also sometimes referred to as indigo, but they're in some ways having adult conversations. So they just don't quite fit in, if you will. They're ahead of their time is probably a good way to put it. And that's how Stephen was. So, and then I just have one more point I wanted to make. I know we're going to wrap. Quite often the aura of a spirited child is magenta or blue. And obviously magenta is the reds and the blues. So which blue is the throat chakra, right? That rules communication, self-expression, natural expressive gifts, that type of thing, inner knowledge, wisdom, etc. So they tend to be dreamers. Dreamers as in, the world, life, inner wisdom, knowledge. So I would encourage you to, to work with that, and don't quash that if you can, to keep them going. And like Taylor said, we've got some classes coming up, so get them in there, and we can help you as the parent, direct and then work with them directly as well. So.
Yeah. And one thing I just thought of too with Timber is with that small group of friends, if one of them starts crying, she's automatically like sad. And then when all of her friends are crazy and they're having fun, they're all super happy. They all feed off of each other's emotions a lot. And they all care about each other so deeply. But also, I've thought of one other thing is Timber tends to be a daydreamer as well. So like she'll be standing out in the dirt during a softball game. She is not there though. And I have to get after her to focus and keep an eye on the ball because I'm afraid she's going to get hurt because it's going to come and it's going to hit her and she doesn't even know it's coming at her. But she is a huge daydreamer too. And will draw pictures of things that she has seen and she's thought up, but we've never been there. So that's another thing that I thought of with her too.
She's traveling.
Sorry, Liz, can't hear you.
Liz, you're cutting out a lot. Yeah. But yeah, that's the other thing is I tend to get on her about not being super focused on the task at hand. I like to let her have her daydreaming time, but then we're having a hard time coming back and being focused. So that's the other thing. And one of our classes that's coming up is about feeling other people's feelings, like feeling things that are not your own. So that'll be fun to help them through.
I think
That's going to be good for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going to try and make it very kid oriented. And then we're also going to have in each class a part where they can meditate. And we practice it. We'll start small. We might play with where it is in the lesson, whether we start off or we end it with that. Or Steve says, "Oh Lord, yes, focus is a joke a lot of times."
We got to remember.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'll play music to pump her up for the softball game about okay, get your head in the game, from High School Musical. We play that. We play this song called Focus, just so that she's got her mind wrapped around the fact that she has to focus on something for longer than 5 seconds. So I don't know how she does in school. Her teacher hasn't complained about it yet, but I'm sure that there are some days that she is not there for most of them.
She has a magenta aura, and magentas think that largely what everyone else is doing is humdrum, except for what they want to do. So, very unique personalities, very strong personalities, hugely optimistic, great sense of humor. Very, very positive. Never follow the crowd. Might consider it for a moment, but ultimately decide not to because that's really boring. So they do their own thing.
Yeah. I have parents that are in her class where they're like, how old is she? Did you hold her back? Because she does have a very pretty strong vocabulary, and like she can explain things with a fairly complex thought process. So people think she's a lot older than she is.
Mhm.
I don't know where she got that from, because yeah, she's she's never listening to what other people are teaching her unless she finds it extremely interesting, like you said. She wants to. So
Yeah, they deal well with the tangibles on the planet, like taking physical substance and stretching it into new forms that go beyond what people would consider the norm. So that's basically what you're saying.
yeah.
She know that, right? Yeah. Free spirit, that's what they are. Free spirit is the best way to sum that up. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. She decided that this wasn't what she wanted to do right now. So she's off.
Mhm.
And she's playing by herself outside. So who knows? All right. Let's see. I relate. Mason has always related and gotten along better with adults at school.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while, we have some moments where she goes into like a baby talk stage or anything like that. But yeah, she relates a lot to my coworkers more than the people that come to our stuff.
Mhm.
Other kids are weird and unpredictable to him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And I think kids are still trying to figure out their emotions. And since ours are trying to already figure out their emotions and deal with other people's emotions while they're trying to figure them out too, it's hard to get a bunch of kids that don't know their emotions in one room and have our kids be able to do it. So, yeah. Our emotions will go from one extreme to the other very quickly. And then I throw food at her and just say that she's hangry. So,
And sometimes that is the case.
I just feed her until she's happy again. Let her focus on that for a little bit. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming to our first Kids Live Circle and Family Life Circle. We will be doing this again next month, but not the first Sunday of July because that's the holiday weekend. So it will be, let me pull the calendar. It will be July 11th where we have the next circle. And it should be super fun. And hopefully the kids will start warming up to it, have more questions, especially with these classes coming up. They might spark more questions. Hey, you talked to me about my emotions and now I have this predicament or something. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining us today and we will see you soon. Of course, our adult live circle is back up and running this Friday. So sassy cards will be back, messages for you guys will be back, and it should be super fun. All right, thank you. My name is Taylor. We have Pam.
Thank you for coming.
And we have Liz.
Thank you for coming.
And we look forward to seeing you guys soon.